So you started storing your
Wow.
sourdough starter in the fridge. Not too sure how to feed it and maintain it. I'll show you how. Okay, so before I put it in the fridge, before filming this, of course, I had fed it a 1-to-2 ratio, and then you put the lid on tight and put it right in the fridge. I don't let mine sit and rise first. I let it sit right in the fridge, lid on. Fast forward, it's a week later, you take it out of the fridge, unscrew the cap, and let some air get into it, and it's going to start to rise on its own and finally ferment like it was supposed to after you fed it the last time. Now for this day, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to touch it. You're not going to feed it. You're going to let it fully rise on its own and fully fall on its own. Let it chill out. Time-wise, I pulled this out Wednesday at like 10 a.m. All right, we let it hang out. So Thursday around, it was pretty early. It was like 6 or 7 in the morning. I checked on it, gave it a little feeding because I thought maybe I could bake that day. Didn't rise very much, so I'm going to feed it again at nighttime on Thursday. This is what worked out perfect for me. 11 p.m. Thursday, I fed it a 1-to-2 ratio, and then by this time in the morning, we were getting some pretty good action. So the 1-to-2 ratio slows the fermentation down, so it rises a little slower overnight, so you're not getting the rise and fall before you're ready to get started. But believe it or not, this still wasn't its peak, so you gotta let it sit and hang out again. So I got my dough ready around 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was ready to go. Now, if you were not feeding it to bake, and you were just feeding it to maintain it, you would have let it rise and fall, do its thing, and then done the first feeding. And as soon as you feed it, you screw the cap on and put it right back in the fridge to stop the fermentation. Then the following week, you repeat, okay? You let it rise, fall, done, feed, put in the fridge. A good rule of thumb I've been kind of going off of is if it's been in the fridge for about a week, you're going to want to do it 2 feedings before you start to get the dough ready to bake. This gets the starter nice and active. If it's been 2 weeks, you're going to probably want to do more than 2 feedings. Just keep going until you see it really getting some action like this. I mean, it has to be well over doubled and bubbly and looks like it's going to crawl out of the fucking mason jar. Now, Lex, do you have to keep the starter in the fridge? Can you leave it on the counter? Here's the thing. If you're going to keep it in the fridge, it's because you're only baking maybe once, twice a week, maybe not that often. But if you're baking every couple days or you're quite often baking, you're going to want to keep it on the counter. I keep it in the fridge. I only bake about once a week. But just remember, feed it, screw the cap on tight, put it right in the fridge. Do not let it rise. Do not let it fall. That is what's been working for me perfect. But let me know if you have any questions. I don't know. I'm not an expert again, like I said, but I can help with the little bits of sprouts of knowledge that I have. You don't even have to feed it once a week, by the way. I mean, there's people that have forgotten about their sourdough starters for months and then go back to it, scrape all the bad yucky stuff off. And if you got some good stuff in the bottom and it doesn't smell like spoilage, you're good, man. You can keep feeding it and keep it going. Sourdough is resilient.